This is what I use to drill holes into the maple trees. You can see I have a tape line right there, so I know I go in the proper depth each time. I drill at a slightly upward angle. See, the sap is flowing out of this hole already at a nice clip. This is what a spile looks like. This end goes in the tree. This end goes on the tubing. I pound it in until it stops moving. You can see it's dripping out of there pretty good right now. Then I attach the tubing. I have a bunch of these Menards buckets that I've drilled a hole in the top, a little bit bigger than the hole for the tubing. Install tubing. This bucket on the ground at a somewhat level spot so it won't tip over, and we're good to go. It's always best to put the hole in the south side of the tree, so the south side will warm up in the sun, and the sun is what helps pump the sap out of the ground and into your bucket. It went way easier than the other trees. I'm thinking this might not be a maple. I don't see any sap moistening the hole, so I think I might go to a different tree. Sometimes it's hard to tell maples from the other trees in the spring because they kind of all look alike. After a couple days of boiling, this is what I have left. I have 2 pans that look just like this. Each pan has maybe a couple gallons in it, but the next step is to filter, and then I'm going to do the final boil down in the house before I put it into jars. Next step is filtration. This is an example of the filters that I use, which are available from a local maple syrup supply place. This filter is inside of this filter holder, which I have attached to my 5-gallon bucket. So I'm going to pour this semi-boiled down sap got a nice color already, but it's not quite boiled down enough yet. I will just let that sit for about 15 minutes and it'll be all filtered. What it's filtering out is twigs and bark and stuff that ended up being in the bucket for whatever reason, and that we don't want in the final product of the syrup. Here's my indoor boiling setup. On the right is the sap, which is boiling down right now. And on the left is the kettle I have my canning jars in, sterilizing those guys. This is a hydrometer. This is the tool that I use to determine whether or not the sap has boiled down enough or not yet. If you look closely, there's 2 red lines. If the liquid level is up here, and I'll show you that with a real live test in a second here. If the level of the liquid is up here, that means it's not cooked enough yet. So this is my hydrometer holder right here. Take a sample of the sap, almost syrup, and then this is going to float in there. As you can see, it's not quite floating at all yet, so it's going to take a little more time. So that means we need to boil for a little bit longer, probably another 10-15 minutes. I'll check it again. Okay, we're doing another test here. I think this time will be good. Hydrometer in, and what we're looking for is the hydrometer to float right where that red line is. The red line right there. I'm just going to let her float. It's right there right now. So we're going to put this in the jars and we can call this a day. Collecting sap for maple syrup is really a great hobby. It's good for families, it's good to kid people outside in the early spring. Kids could have fun with it too. I use my tractor to go around and collect the sap. And I think it's just a great thing to get people outdoors in the springtime. Some people are concerned that maybe taking sap from the trees will hurt the trees. But it's been pretty well proven over many, many years that the amount of sap that the tree produces is way more than it uses for transport of nutrients up from the ground. So people taking some sap from trees is not a big deal for the trees. I've always felt a little bit bad about using propane as a source of heat to boil down the sap. I've already started on my next year's cooking implement, which is going to be a 55-gallon barrel, which I have converted to a sap boiler. So maybe I'll do a video on that next year. What else have I got for you here? I think that's about it. If you got any questions, please leave them in the comments section below and I'll get right to them and answer them for you. Glad you tuned in today. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.